Okay, we're going to get ready to get started. You may think it's a little funny that I'm using the microphone, but we are video recording this session, just so all of you know. I want to welcome you to our third Family Advisory Council meeting of the school year. These are K through 12 sessions that are held 4 times a year. My name's Deb Marizio. I'm the elementary principal. I want to welcome you all here tonight. As we said earlier, we have a lot of free stuff to give away. So the less people that are here, the more all of you will get. So we appreciate you coming. We know it's very cold outside. We are very fortunate. We get donations each and every year from Jo-Ann Fabrics. Anything that they have that they would typically, I don't want to say be throwing away, but throwing away, they donate to our school district. We get a wide variety of items. Sometimes we get 20 styrofoam heads. I don't think anybody here would have a use for those, but some of our things, we have wreaths sometimes, we have holiday decorations. You just never know what we're going to get. The only issue is when you take one box, you have to take all the boxes. So you will have an opportunity at the very end for coming tonight. Typically, we do have our Family Advisory Council meetings piggybacked with our Student of the Month. Our school board meeting is closed again this month. It's going to be tonight, and it will be online, but this is just due to the pandemic. So again, we want to welcome you here. I know for some of you, I know you. Others, it's the first time I've met you. We have some families that are new to the district, so we appreciate you coming tonight. And again, it is very cold outside, so we appreciate you're here. If you got a chance to take a look at the agenda, I'm just going to do a few brief introductions. Outside, when you walked in, Miss Detweiler was out there. She's our tutor down in the elementary, but she's also our family engagement coordinator. So anytime you have an event like tonight, anything that involves families, you typically see her and I, because in addition to being the elementary principal, I'm also our federal programs coordinator. Mr. McCloskey isn't here right now, but he'll be hopefully stopping in a little bit later. He's our special education supervisor, and he's also our assistant superintendent. Ms. Wardropper is our first speaker tonight, and she's going to talk to you about supporting students that have IEPs or individual education plans. The staff over here to my right, your left, we'll have them all wave, and we will have them introduce themselves. We are very excited to have them here with us. I don't know if any of your students have been talking about something brand new. It's called the AHN Claret and Chill Project, or the Allegheny Health Network. I see a few faces down there that are bouncing up and down, and they have talked about that. Our school district has made a huge commitment to mindfulness and social emotional learning in our district. We are very happy to be partnering with Allegheny Health Network to offer school-based services right here in our district. They will be offered K through 12. Each and every student will have the opportunity for at least one mindfulness lesson per month. And really, what is mindfulness? My simple term is it's a tool. It's a tool that you can use when you get upset. It's a tool that you can use when you get stressed, when you feel overwhelmed, maybe when you're sad. Maybe just at this time of year, especially with the pandemic, there's so much going on, and it helps to focus you and focus your attention. So you're also going to be able to learn a little bit more about that program, and we will hopefully be taking a tour of those rooms if you want to go get a chance to take a look at them. They look nothing like any classroom I've ever seen in any school district. It's called the Chill Room, and the way you see the rooms tonight, if you stop back a year from now and see the rooms again, pretty much guarantee they'll be transformed. Okay, Mr. Davies is over there. His head's up and down, and Aaron, make sure you get a shot of that. He's assuring me they'll look a little different. Each and every one of the rooms are designed to appeal to all of your senses. So you will see things in there that will appeal to your sense of smell, even your sense of your hearing. You might hear background music. There's a fireplace in the rooms. Each of the rooms will have couches, soft lighting, different types of seating. So if your student is getting anxious or overwhelmed or just needs to chill out, it's a place for them to go. And the last person we're going to have speak in addition to myself, Ms. Carrick. That's Andrea Carrick. She's our social worker, our homeschool visitor, and our foster and homeless liaison. So she's going to talk with all of you about the importance of regular attendance. So I'm going to turn everything over to Mrs. Wardropper.
Thanks, Mrs. Marizio. As Mrs. Marizio said, my name is Jen Wardropper. I'm a longtime special education teacher here in the district. I recently earned my certification as a special education supervisor myself, and I've been working on some more supportive roles in the special education department. So I'm here tonight to just provide you with some resources and some support for children that may be eligible for IEP or individualized education program services. It's my job to make sure that if you have concerns about your children's academic or behavioral performance in school, that you know the proper channels to take to get help with that. We have a very strong special education department here at Clairton City School District, and we're here to help you in any way possible. So I'm just going to provide you with a little guidance in how to implement those services if your child does not currently have an IEP, and if they do, the types of things that you should be doing as a parent to make sure that you're receiving the proper support from the district at all times. So thank you all, as Mrs. Marizio said, for coming out in the cold, and we'll go ahead and get started. So as Mrs. Marizio said, tonight is our K-12 Family Advisory Council meeting. We're really happy to have the few of you that were able to attend with us this evening, and we thank you for coming out. This is one of my favorite slides in education, so I chose to include it in the PowerPoint tonight. If you look closely, it has a lot of keywords that are involved in every child's education, not just a student with an IEP. But as a special educator, look at this slide, there's many words that jump out to me that have to do with children with IEPs that really do help to provide. One of the keywords I see on here is networks. It helps to provide a network of people in the school building, including yourself as a parent and including your child, in making sure that their learning processes are supported at the highest level possible to make sure they're as successful as they can be in school. We see many other words like disabilities, students, differences, design, technology, multiple learning, ways of learning in multiple modalities is a huge thing in special education. So this is a slide that I like to present because it does show how many different things fit together for not only kids with IEPs, but for every kid in the world of education that's trying to learn each day. This here is one of my favorite quotes as a special education teacher. Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be. This is our job as a special education department, is to make sure that when kids have academic challenges or behavioral concerns, that there is someone there to support them, whether that person is a teacher, a guidance counselor, their parent, a TSS worker, whoever that might be. Each child deserves someone that is their coach, their champion for learning. And we hope that when your child becomes eligible for an IEP, that it's a whole team of people. Each child with an IEP will have an IEP team that I'll address here in a few minutes as to who that involves. But I really think that it's important for every child in the world of education to have coaches, people behind them that support them and make sure their needs are being met. So what is special education? When we talk about special education, many people think about the word disability. Although that is the actual word that we use for children with disabilities, I recently heard a term that I prefer to use myself as a special education leader, and that term is differently abled. So instead of referring to a child or an individual as someone with a disability, I like to think of them as someone that is differently abled, someone that is able to do anything they want to do, but they do it in a different way than other people. And I found that to be a pretty powerful term that I like to use with my students, and I like to use it with families who are going through difficult times with children with special education. You know, we might have a child in a wheelchair. It does not mean that that child cannot get from point A to point B. It means that they do it differently than everyone else, but they still have the ability to get there. Some children don't read the same way as other children. They're differently abled. They still can read, but they do it differently than other kids. So I think that's a pretty powerful term I wanted to share with you this evening that I hope might shed some light into what special education really is about. It's about helping kids learn in a different way that allows them to be successful. Special education is a way of teaching that provides accommodations, which accommodations are making sure that the kids are learning the same curriculum and the same material as everyone else, but we are teaching it in a different way. So they are not, their material is not being changed. We are just simply adding things to help them learn it differently or better. An adaptation, though, does mean that at times we might change the material to meet the child's needs. So in most cases, children with IEPs have both adaptations and accommodations. It just depends what the team decides is best for them. Kids also get specially designed instruction. You might have heard it called SDIs. And SDIs are special teaching techniques that teachers utilize for kids that helps them to be successful with the material in front of them. Special education is actually also a set of laws and regulations. There is legality behind it. So when a child has an IEP, that is a legally binding document that helps the teaching team and the school district, as well as the family, know what the expectations are for the child's learning processes throughout the school year. So it is a set of laws and regulations that recognize some kids need to learn differently, and it tells the district how to make that happen for the child and their family. The law also suggests for children with special education or IEPs that they are all entitled, in fact, all children are entitled to what we call a free and appropriate public education. So every child in the state of Pennsylvania and nationwide is entitled to receive a free and appropriate public education. But particularly in the world of special education, it's critical that we make sure that that is happening according to the terms of their IEP. I'm not going to go over every single one of these categories, but what you see in front of you are all of the different types of disability categories that would allow a child to become eligible to receive an IEP within the school setting. So some of the most popular disability categories that we see in a public school setting would be intellectual disabilities, speech and language impairments, specific learning disabilities, autism, and we do occasionally have deafness, deafblindness, emotional disturbance. These are all things that we typically run across here in our building. However, there are many other categories that a child can receive an IEP for, and I'm going to go over in a minute just how that is determined. So, eligibility for special education services is determined in a very formal manner. If you as a parent are concerned about the progress that your child is making or any deficits that you feel they might have in the area of academics or behavior, you have a right as a family to request what we call an evaluation by a school psychologist. In addition, if the teaching staff or staff on hand here in the district has concerns regarding your child, they may reach out to you and request your permission to do an evaluation on your child to determine whether they are eligible for special education services. We as a district can never and will not proceed with that evaluation unless you have signed a document that says you issued permission for us to do that. Once that permission is gathered, within a 60-day time frame, an evaluation is conducted by our certified school psychologist. And at that time, she's going to do whatever testing has been recommended, Usually that involves an IQ test. It may involve behavioral assessments, data gathering such as observations in the classroom, and many other things fit into that process. When he or she is finished with that evaluation, they will then determine whether your child fits into any of those categories that I just presented a few minutes ago. All of that data comes from yourself as a parent, from the teaching staff, from administration, from perhaps your child's medical team. All of those things fit into the evaluation process. The school psychologist will then analyze all the data and will reach out to you as a family member to say whether they feel your child should proceed to the phase of having an IEP in school. So what happens once your child is determined to be eligible for an IEP? I chose this picture because I feel that this is probably the most accurate depiction of what happens when your child receives an individualized education plan. What you see is a picture of many individuals putting together many pieces of a puzzle. That puzzle is put together in the best interest of your child. So those people come together in what we call an IEP team meeting and talk about the things that were gathered during that evaluation process and how we as a school district, you as parents at home, and also any support services that your child might receive can work together to best support the needs of your child. Your IEP team for your child must consist of these people. So when we come together for an IEP team meeting, which is required one time every year minimally. Sometimes we come together much more than that, but we must come together at least once a year for an IEP team meeting. Your team will consist of you yourselves as parents and guardians, your student if your child is 14 years of age or older. A special education teacher such as myself is required to be a part of that team, as well as a teacher from a regular education classroom. Lastly, the most required member of the team is someone from administration, sometimes known as what we call a local education advocacy, an LEA, okay? The LEA is there to make sure that the meeting runs smoothly and that all needs of your child are being addressed efficiently. Also, there might be additional people as determined appropriate by the IEP team, such as a speech teacher or a physical therapist or an occupational therapist or a social worker, or maybe you have some mental health services involved for your child. All of those people would be invited to attend as well. Here are just some helpful hints if you do have a child with an IEP or you are considering having your child evaluated for IEP services. As a parent or guardian, you must always be issued an invitation to participate in an IEP meeting. That is a paper document that tells when the meeting is being held. It also will list all of the people who are required to attend, and you will have the option at that point to say, I would like this additional person to attend, or if there's someone on that list that maybe you don't feel is appropriate for the IEP team meeting, you as a parent have the right to express that concern as well. As I said earlier, they must be held at least one time per school year to discuss the strengths and needs of your child and how the progress is coming in their schooling. However, as a parent, and I'm sure everyone in this crowd is very versed at monitoring your child's progress in school. And if you have concerns, please reach out to the district. Request that an additional or an extra IEP team meeting be held. These meetings are meant to support your children. So if you ever have concerns, have them, and have them frequently. Because the more that we gather as adults and talk about the things that are in place for your children, the more support that we can provide and the greater chance of a road to success for your child. The last thing is please know that you will receive, if your child is a student with individualized education plan services, you will receive a packet known as the Procedural Safeguards Notice. That packet is an informational packet from the state of Pennsylvania that provides you with guidance in what your rights are as the parent of a special education student. It provides a number of resources that you can contact through the state if you have concerns or questions about your child's programming. And it also encourages you to work with us as a district and gives you the channels for which you would need to contact if you have concerns or questions here in our building. That is a very resourceful packet that you will want to hold on to throughout your year for a resource with your child. Please know that you as a parent are perhaps the most important member of your child's IEP team, and we want you to be actively involved. So don't ever hesitate to contact your child's special education case manager. You should know who that is, and if you don't, please ask. Call into our special education office. Erica, our secretary, is phenomenal. She will give you any information that you need for contacting the appropriate people when you have concerns. Your child's special education case manager would then schedule an IEP meeting or call in any services that might be needed or answer any questions that you might have. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out to our special education department. Erica will for sure meet your needs. And don't ever hesitate to request that additional IEP team meeting. Does anyone have any questions about what I've talked about so far? Yeah. You feel free, Heather, to have a conversation with her classroom teacher about that. And, if the teacher is feeling concerned as well, then go ahead and contact our special education department, or Mrs. Maurizio, I'm sure, could shed some light. Yeah. All of those things factor in. So ever any questions, reach out to me. I can take a look at things and give you some feedback as well. Okay. I just have a couple more quotes that I want to share, and then I'll wrap things up for the evening. This one is really powerful because it expresses what our goal is for all children as learners here in our district, but particularly for children with IEPs. We want our children with IEPs, regardless of their needs, to be able to graduate from high school and have a sound post-secondary plan, whether that be to go to a career, whether it would be to go to a post-secondary vocational training school, or whether it would be to go to a college or a university. We support all of those plans along the way and try to help them to meet those goals as much as possible. Every disabled child is entitled to appropriate education that will meet each child's unique needs and prepare each child for further education, employment, and independent living. As a special education teacher, I never want to hear that a child feels or has been told that they will not be successful in life. That is not the case, and we want every child to have an opportunity to grow in their future, and we will support them all the way around the spectrum, every teacher here in our district. In conclusion, this is one of the most powerful quotes that are out there, in my opinion, that has to do with special education services. If a child can't learn the way we teach, maybe we should teach the way that they learn. And I think that our teachers here in Clairton do an excellent job at this. We find successful ways for each and every child to learn and be successful in our classrooms. So, an IEP can really help to assist in this process if your child is eligible. And if they aren't eligible, we still work to find the ways that each child can learn individually. Not everyone in the world learns the same way. We recognize that here in Clairton, and we work to make sure that we teach the way that they learn. That's all I have for my presentation tonight. Please, if you have any questions or concerns regarding special education, reach out to our special ed office at extension 1160. To myself, my name is Jennifer Wardropper. Again, you can find me on our website. Or to Mr. McCloskey, who is our current special education supervisor. We will work together to support your child's needs in any way that we can or answer any questions that you might have. So hopefully this was helpful information for you, and I'm going to go ahead and pull up the PowerPoint for the chill room to talk to you for a few minutes, and we'll move on from there.
Thank you, Mrs. Wardropper. That's some good information. Did you turn this off? Is it still on? Mrs. Marizio is always technically challenged when it comes to the microphones and things like that. I'm going to have Ms. Carey come up next just to give not in a second, just to give some information on regular attendance. We're going to end with the chill presentation because we will at least go down and take a look at the elementary one, if not both the elementary and the middle high school one. As far as our health and safety plan, I know that's something that's very important each and every year, but probably more important even this year. I feel like Vanna White, and we have some of our props here. You'll see here's a big thing of hand sanitizer, paper towels, things like that. And behind me is actually our auditorium, which has been used previously for our elementary gym classes. If you don't know, we have a brand new, huge gymnasium downstairs that was really there, thankfully, to the flood that we had last year. The flood was horrible. We were displaced. There was remote learning. But in the end, the majority of our school downstairs is completely remodeled, so it's a positive. But as far as our health and safety plan goes, the children are eating in here for middle and high school as well as in the cafeteria, so we're allowing for social distancing. When you look at our cafeteria downstairs, the students are actually sitting at desks, so they're not right next to each other. And that allows them, when they have their masks off, to be eating, to be more socially distanced. Hand sanitizer, wipes, shields that go around the desks, those are things that are just mandatory. The students earn in the elementary PAX tickets when they walk in the building and they have their masks and they're wearing them appropriately. If a student forgets the mask, it's not a big deal. We have plenty of them available. I think if we'd all had made... No. We're able to buy stock in masks or hand sanitizers, things like that, I think we'd all be rich right now. So please know that the health and safety of your children, of our staff members, is always of utmost importance. We have the health office here. We're very fortunate. They're able to actually provide testing through cooperation with Livingston Pharmacy, as well as the Stay Open program, that at times they also even have rapid tests available. Not always, but if your child's exhibiting symptoms, and obviously none of this is done without a parent permission. Important dates to remember. Please don't forget, report cards are coming out on Friday. It's the end of the second marking period, which means about 4 weeks later, February the 22nd, progress reports will be coming out for the third marking period because our fourth marking period ends towards the end of March. So keep that in mind. As far as family engagement goes, other events that we have coming up, tomorrow is our final student conference day of the year. No school for students, so tag, all of you are it for tomorrow, not us for tomorrow. Conferences are held, again, due to the pandemic, but also really it's made it a lot easier for families. We're doing phone conferences and we're doing virtual conferences. Well, and we hope that you like that. And there's a lot of technology that we had before, but we really never had to use it. Exactly. I think if all of us could stay home tomorrow, we would. And as far as our federal programs, our Title I, our Title II, our Title IV, those come from the federal government each and every year. Ms. Detweiler's position as a reading tutor in the elementary, that's one of the resources that we use those funds for. We have 2 reading specialists in our middle school. We have a coach this year in Just for Reading from grades 3 up through grade 8. We use a lot of our funds from Title I and even Title II for additional staff members to help either reduce class size or push in for additional support. Title IV is something we look for well-rounded education. It's used for things for additional supplies, whether it's for our band or music, chorus, things like that. A certain percentage has to go to technology every year. So a lot of the resources that we use that are online comes from there. And then the ESSER, you might have heard online, news, things like that. I don't want to say newspaper because I haven't seen an actual hard newspaper for quite some time, and I'm one of those old school that I still, I miss a regular newspaper. But those are funds that are available just as a result of the pandemic. A large portion of those funds go to purchase many of the supplies that are needed. Also, in addition, improvements were made to the building on the outside as well as the inside using those funds. We've been able to secure additional technology purchases, and those are funds that are also helping with learning loss. Due to the pandemic, we have students that are on what we call our modified remote learning. If your child ever has COVID or has to quarantine due to an exposure, they're able to work modified, no live lessons, but at the end of every day, someone's able to reach out. We have summer school for all of our students available that might benefit from that. We have not had that in years. We had that this year, this past summer for the first time, and that was also due to learning loss. So Ms. Carrick, as I mentioned, she's our social worker. She's new to us this year in September. She's going to give some information on regular attendance, and then we'll turn it over to our staff that are here from Allegheny Health Network for the CHILL Project.
Do I have to talk in it? I guess I should. Hi, everyone. Okay, can I take my name is Andrea Carrick. I'm the school social worker. It's nice to see some parents and students here. I just want to talk about attendance real fast. So every student is allowed 10 formal excuses a year. That's when a parent writes a hand note saying, you know, my child was sick or whatever, had an appointment, whatever. And then we also allow every student to have up to 10 unexcused, well, we don't let you, but 10 unexcused absences. We also talk about something called chronic attendance. Chronic attendance is when a student misses 18 days of school. So that's pretty much 2 days per month, and that's a really high number. We ask that when parents write excuses that a student can turn them in within 3 days. I share my phone number so people can text me their excuses, doctor's appointments, whatever. Feel free to send that to me. I'll share my information with everyone. Once we get to 5 unexcused, there are consequences once we hit so many unexcused absences. Once we get to 5 or 6, we like to have a SAIP meeting, which is a student attendance improvement plan, where we really try to address the barriers that's affecting your family and why your student can't get to school. I will take that as soon as I'm done. And then also, once we get to 10, we will end up sending you a citation through the magistrate. We usually try not to do that. I will work with you. I will help you address every barrier you have if I can. We really try to help families. You communicate with us and work with us. We will do everything we can to address those barriers and getting your kid to school. They say 1 out of every 10 kindergartners is chronically absent to school. They say by 6th grade, if you are chronically absent, your chances of graduating high school and becoming a high school dropout dramatically increase by like 65%. So it's really just, being mindful of how can I get my kid to school every day, and school was important. And if there's barriers, we can help you address those barriers. I'm going to put these on the table. These are, they say elementary on them, but if you turn them in, I will take them. I'm going to make some for middle school and high school too. It's just a pre-made form for anyone that wants to use it. Does anyone have any questions? I just wanted to go over attendance. Attendance is important. It's important for our kids to be here every day. We do a lot of fun things here, and we're trying some different incentives to get kids here. And any barriers that anyone has, I would really like to work with you on addressing them and getting your student to school. And I look forward to working with everyone. Bring them on in. All right, we're going to, AHN, you guys up next? Ready? All right. Oh, you're fine, you're fine.
Hello, everyone. Welcome. We are the Claritin Chill Project team. My name is Miss Brittany. That's what the kids call me. And then we also have Mr. Mike here. We have Miss Lauren. And then Mr. Davies. He's the director of the program, the visionary behind it. And then we have Miss Crystal, who is our program supervisor. Do you want to go next? Hit the slide. So just a little bit about us and how we came about. We are with the Allegheny Health Network, and we are basically partnered with the school district to provide a mindfulness-informed and preventative school-based behavioral health program to serve the students, staff, and families. So we are here to serve the whole school community, and so through that, we do that with mindfulness. And like Deb said earlier, mindfulness is simply just a tool. It's another approach to what's already happening in the schools with their social emotional learning. That's already happening. And so our mindfulness is basically just being aware and being present, taking a moment to just focus on what's happening now. We're not focusing on what happened early in the morning before we got to school. We're not focusing on, what we're going to do after school, just being present and during the school day while we're here. So that's like the biggest thing. So teaching the kids mindfulness skills so they can focus and reset and just be the best students they can be during the school day. Next. And so, like I said before, we're here for everybody. We're here for the students, we're here for the faculty, and we're here for you guys as well. So for nights like tonight, so the Family Advisory Council meeting. You guys have these every so often. We'll be present for those. The next one will probably, be a little more engaging. We'll probably do something, but this is just to introduce us for right now. Next. So the primary component of the program is we have a cool, chill space for the students to come to. Also, the staff can utilize it as well. Anybody can utilize it, really. And the way that room works is it's a nice atmosphere for the kids to come, take a break if they're really escalated, or sometimes they just might need to relax. They might need a second to just reset from, the classroom. They might just be stressed because kids do get stressed too, believe it or not. They are stressed. So that's just a place for them to come, learn some skills, again, to increase success in the classroom setting. And we do that. Yes, it's really cool, yes. Yes, it is important, yes. And so we'll do groups down there. There will be classroom lessons. So I am one of the educators. I'm with the elementary school. The kids will be coming down to me, and I'll just teach them lessons once a month so that they can learn some of these skills and utilize them in the classroom and at home. All right. And then the second component, Mr. Mike, he can talk a little more about this. He's one of the behavioral health therapists, as well as Lauren. She's the other therapist working with the middle school and high school. But he'll give you an overview of his role.
Man, it's cold out there, ain't it? So, I was thinking about how to describe it. You guys are bears, right? So in the winter, you guys hibernate. So think about it as when the bears hibernate, right? They take all the junk and all the food and stuff and just take it all with them, right? So they hold it on to, keep it on until the summer comes out, right? So think about this. Your bears, this is emotional hibernation. You guys are holding everything in, right? So when you're holding everything in, what happens when you think you hold everything in? Anybody have an idea when you hold in a bunch of anger, sadness, all that stuff, what happens? It just builds up. And then it can build up until, either you're destroying yourself or destroying somebody else, right? So we offer school-based behavioral therapy, okay? So that means, it's like outpatient therapy, but inside the school. Are we taking them out of every class? Absolutely not. What we are doing is taking them out of classes that we think that they are able to handle like once a week and to have therapy with us. It's either play therapy, it's just talk therapy, it's whatever kind of thing that we're going to do for them. It's just like 45 minutes out of the day. Sometimes, they got emotional baggage. Everybody has emotional baggage. Everybody has different ways they express themselves. This is a way to help them emotionally express themselves in a positive light. We're just showing the skills, the social skills, the problem-solving skills, the interpersonal skills, all these type of things. If you want to get a referral, you get a referral from Miss Maureen. She is the high school? Okay, she's the high school counselor. You got Jill as the elementary counselor, and you got Emily as the middle school counselor. And they will help getting you to the system. Listen, everybody needs therapy. Mental health is a real thing. Once we start putting in the system that mental health is a real thing, then we won't have to be dealing with these problems by ourselves. Everybody needs somebody to talk to. It's a real thing. You want to add anything? No, you're good. So, like I said, we're here to help everybody's personal growth. Because I'm hearing that the Bears are a huge community, right? You're a family, right? So with family, everybody has a family has issues, right? So we got to deal with those issues. We got to talk as a family. Let's be a family. Let's get through these issues. Let's work together. That's what the Chill Project is all about. Working together to get all our emotional baggage, all our everything out. We're here to chill. All right? Good job.
And then here are just some ways, mostly just so you guys know how it works. So this is where and when and how. So the rooms are located, like I said, there's one on the high school level. That is the room where the high schoolers and middle schoolers will be able to go. And then there's also one down in the lower level with the elementary school. And so the elementary schools will be able to access that one. So the when is they can visit the chill room anytime during the day. So if something comes up at lunchtime, first thing in the morning, in the middle of class, they have an opportunity to go to the chill room to, just chill out, take a break, get some mindfulness, reset. Or, there might be an opportunity for them to participate in some groups. There might be, some peers that they can come and, work on some skills with then. And then the how. So basically, there will be passes provided to the students. So they will be able to just request a pass whenever, and then that's basically how they'll gain access to the room. We are encouraging, students to be in class as much as possible, but if they need a break, they can get a break. And then the goal is to get them back to class. We don't want them just hanging out all day and skipping out on academics. So that is what we're here for. Want to go next? And this is just, just some little greetings that we had for you guys. We are all just very excited to be here. Like I said, Mr. Mike and I, we are the elementary team. So I'm the educator that will be, doing most of the mindfulness lessons and running the chill room. And then he'll be the therapist providing the outpatient therapy. And then we have Miss Lauren here. She is the therapist that'll primarily be working with the middle school and high schoolers. Occasionally, as needed, Mr. Mike and Miss Lauren can both, work with all populations throughout the school. And then Miss Ami, she is not here, but she is the high school and middle school educator. She'll be doing the same things as I do. She'll be running the classroom lessons, allowing kids to come in and teach them skills as well. Did you guys have any questions about anything? All right, you guys are easy. All right, and again, we just thank you guys, coming and being here. There you go, there you go. Yeah, and we look forward to working with your children, so we're happy to be here. There you go.
That's right, that's correct. So when you came in, Ms. Detweiler gave you one of our agendas. The back half of that has our evaluation for this evening. She has pens, or if you have a pen or a pencil, we're going to ask you to just briefly put your name and your contact information, And then there's just a few questions. What we're really asking from all of you was the information we presented tonight. Was it clear? Was it easy to understand? And then the questions at the bottom, is there anything better that we could do to support your children's successes? How can we better coordinate family engagement events or programs? And then how can we better communicate with parents or guardian? And then if you have any other ideas for future meeting, for topics, please include that. I don't expect you to have answers to all those questions. If you do, that's great. If you don't, that's fine too. The main thing is we are asking you to give your feedback on the information for tonight. And Ms. Detweiler, we're going to officially introduce you at the end. And then what we're going to do is the free items that we have from the home ec room are actually in the home ec room from Joann Fabrics. So we'll be heading down this way. And then did you want to show the middle and high school room maybe? Okay, so what we can do is we'll show the one from middle high school this time. And then maybe next meeting, we'll show the one from elementary. The one from middle high school, we can actually take the elevator, maybe half of us at a time, or we can go right up the stairs, whatever's easier. And that's right in the back of the building. Okay? Thank you all for being here. And again, my first name is